Hi and welcome to this new video of the module number 3, where we will see how Apache Spark can stream data from files. Files that typically are more data at rest storage, so something that you will typically query in batch and not necessarily in streaming way, but Apache Spark provides an API for doing that. And in the demo I will have two classes. The first that will generate users, always the same by the way, and write them in append mode into this output path location. On the data reader side, I will have a sample consumer application that will query this data by specifying the schema, grouping by ID, so grouping by user ID, and counting the number of rows seen so far for this user ID. And a very important point here is this checkpoint location, because it will help the job to know where the job stopped for the last time, for example in case of a crash. So I will start the data generator, and after the first iteration I will start the data reader. Yeah, I have already two generations, and now I will start the data reader. So as you can see, we already generated much more files than previously, so we are at the fourth iteration. The 5 is coming in, and we will certainly count it on Apache Spark side. Okay, we have the last one, the 6th. Okay, I will stop the generation, see if it was taken into account. Not fully. Now is a full count, and let me stop the batch, the streaming job, sorry, right now. And as I have been saying before, there is an important concept of this checkpoint location. So let me show you what's inside. Inside you can see that we have different files per Apache Spark partition, but more importantly, for these files are for the state store, which is not the topic of this module, but more importantly for this module we should focus on these sources that will contain the files processed in each micro batch. So here we are, as you can see, we can see 5 sources, and you can see that each file contains a list of files processed in the given micro batch. So we can see that we had only 3 files here, but much more in the 4th micro batch. And generally the idea behind this checkpoint location is to ensure that if, for example, you stop the application and you restart it, maybe because you had to update some code, well, Apache Spark will not reprocess the files that are already present in this checkpoint location. You don't believe me? Well, let me show you. Normally there should be nothing happening for this run, simply because, as I said before, there is some files already processed that are present in the checkpoint location. So as you can see, the job is doing nothing. And now I will show you something different. So I will now remove the last checkpoint files and show you what happens if we restart the application. So here is the script. I will typically remove all the files from the microbatch number 2, so the third one, because it counts from 0 until the number 5, so the 6th one. As you can see, it's done now. And what happens if I restart the application? Oh, you can see that something weird happened, because we typically process something unlike previously, and it's normal currently because, as I said before, we removed the checkpoint file. So typically Spark doesn't know about the files that it already processed. We somehow cheated on this configuration. And if you check the checkpoint files right now, you will see that for the second iteration, that was the first one removed in this little script, we can see that we have a lot of files, because of which that make this count increment and the data reader doing something compared to the previous run. So that's probably the most difficult or the most complex point for Apache Spark Structure streaming reading files, because as you can see, the API is rather straightforward. We have some input definition, the processing logic, which is for us grouped by a stateful operation for the count, and the writing that for us is a console writing. And yeah, there is nothing rocket science here except this checkpoint location that I have just showed you before. Thanks for watching and see you in the next lesson.